Right, if you just joined us or you're still with us, you're still on to Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our main conversation for today. The World Health Organization, WHO, reports that Nigeria accounted for 30.9% of global malaria death in 2023, including 39.3% of that among children under 5.
The WHO's 2024 World Malaria Report indicates that malaria cases worldwide increased by 11 million from 2022 to an estimated 263 million cases in 2023 across 83 endemic regions.
Malaria death in Africa remains disproportionately high, with the continent responsible for 89.7% of global cases and 246 million cases, resulting in 569,000 deaths in 2023.
And the report highlights a concerning rise in malaria cases since 2020, reversing earlier progress. While malaria incidents had declined between 2000 and 2015, it stabilized from 2015 to 2022, only to rise slightly in 2023 to 60.4 cases per 1,000 at-risk individuals.
Countries like Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Pakistan experienced sharp increases in malaria incidents, while Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of the Congo saw higher cases primarily due to population growth. Nigeria also led to malaria mortality, with 25.9% of global cases and 30.9% of that.
Along with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Niger and Tanzania, it accounted for over half of global malaria deaths. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated malaria-related mortality peaking in 2020.
Very well. So let's have a conversation. And still with us in the studio is Sonny Ibu Anugo, journalist and author. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ibu Anugo, for being part of our show today. All right, so let's talk about this issue. Malaria has been here with us for a very, very long time. It's becoming something normal for us, unfortunately. But at the same time, this is one ailment that has cure. Unfortunately, the government of the day, authorities that are in place, are not able to tackle it conclusively. We know we live in tropical areas, but is it ever possible to, for once and for all, settle out or phase out tropical diseases, even if when we are living in a tropical area like Nigeria?
Well, again, I'm not a medical expert, but I have to speak based on my own knowledge.
Yes.
And surprisingly, I don't know how I'm going to surprise you with this. I've never seen anybody that I heard was killed by malaria. Honestly, I've not had it. So all these figures that are churning out, I'm surprised, honestly, because I have not heard of any more of my neighbor or anybody that was killed by malaria. I don't know. I'm not saying it's big business. I didn't say so.
I wanted to ask if they're actually using this, because there are ways our government used to get aid.
Yes.
From actually these different countries.
Yes.
So maybe they are using this to project Nigeria in a particular light so as to get aids, and we know these aids don't even get to the people that they're supposed to get to.
You see, I think everybody should listen to Lamido Sanusi, Emir of Kano, 16th Emir of Kano, when he was the CBN governor. Yes. He gave a talk on vested interest. There's a talk he gave to some young Nigerians in Abuja in 2013 about what they call vested interest. I think everybody should listen to that. It's on YouTube. Go there, listen to what he said about vested interest. Everything you see in Nigeria, particularly, in fact, in the whole world, because vested interest transcends because everywhere, UK, US, they have their own vested interests, even in Africa, even in Nigeria. So the vested interest aspect of it in Nigeria could be that people see this subject matter as an avenue for aggrandizement or self-enrichment or whatever you can call it. Because as I said before, I have not seen anybody. People get malaria, I get malaria. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, because I've heard before that the world was on the threshold of eradicating malaria completely. I heard this about some years back. So why this resurgence? Why this issue of malaria resurgence to the level that is the world they sounding an alarm? So I don't know. I'm just using my own, milieu, my own level of thought to analyze what a subject matter I don't know, based on my own experiences over issues in Nigeria.
Yes, of course, you're actually not different, from the fact, conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Have had it that the pharma giants, the pharmaceutical companies around the world have a way of, allowing these things run so they can stay in business for as long as they can. But let's speak to us. You talked about vested in interest. It's amazing to me how that our leaders sometimes understand some very important things that would affect their people, that might debase them, but still they corroborate with some of these international organizations. But on the other side, the Western world, they know how to protect their own. So why do you think leadership is a problem for us, which of course is the reason we're even having the discussion in the first place?
It is the leadership recruitment process. The way you recruit your leaders. The fine guys are not there. The people that will do this are not there. And I call it the SUV mentality.
And what's the acronym for it?
SUV mentality.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Everybody wants to drive an SUV.
Oh, okay.
In Nigeria.
Okay.
Everybody. I know and the white men or the people, the Western world, just very glad to make you drive an SUV. Just like they did to our forefathers when they came with the powder.
With Miro.
Came with mirror. You were the only one that had mirror in the whole of the community. People came to you to see their faces.
Their faces. Magic.
And for that thing, you married wives. Women clustered to you. People brought goods. People brought so many things. You open whiskey, you are the only one that has it. You understand? Today, those things are common. What is not common is the SUV. So you buy the SUV. You see the example our lawmakers gave for buying the SUV because they needed it to run on the bad road.
Or bad roads.
Instead of the converse, which is to pave the road, so that even bicycle owners or people who can go on it. So it's the mentality. That is why they bring those aids you are talking about. They bring the aids. They write in that document 40% of this is we are going to provide the personnel that will handle the 40%. You understand? That is in fact what they call it, maybe the experts, which will be their own people that will manage it. In other words, they have carved out 40%. The rest of the 40%, that's 60%. 80% of that 60% is now stolen again and taken to their own banks again. Stored away in their own banks, only to be borrowed again. That is what we are called. That is the issue. It is only when you recruit the right people, when you recruit the right people with the right mindset, which they will never allow you to do. Because if you did that, it means that there will be no more stealing of oil in the Niger Delta.
Okay, now, sorry to cut you short. Talking about recruiting the right people with the right mindsets. In a country where we have godfatherism and the structure is messed up, how do these right people come in? Let me give you an example. But what happened in the 2023 election? A lot of Nigerians had high hopes for Peter Obi. Now, he tried to come in, but those in the system that are actually controlling the structure paved way for their own SUV leaders to still come in. So how do we now change the system and change the narrative with a faulty foundation?
Well, I think that is the hopelessness of the situation. For me, if you ask me, it is almost a hopeless situation because even the P2B issue talk, the moment P2B started saying certain things, I became afraid. When he was saying that he was going to eradicate the stealing of oil, that you cannot put oil is not sweet, that you can go to a grocery shop and put in your pocket and walk away. Yeah? Immediately that he was going to the Sambisa forest to clear that place and make it a tourist place and make it a productive area. I became afraid because there are people who are benefiting from the narrative.
From the chaos.
Yes! If those things are not there, they will not build houses that they will abandon. Build houses that beautiful. I go to Abuja, you see beautiful houses, nobody lives in them. So it's the mentality. If you have the right mentality, the white man, even who produce those cars, don't even, most of them don't even go and check the story of Warren Buffett, who is the one of the richest men in America. The type of house he lives, the house he's living in, he has lived in it for almost all the years. So he must develop that mind, that type of mind. So what they are asking is almost impossible, except by revolution.
Peaceful one, that is. If there's a word like that, though. Yes, well, let's get into malaria once more. Of course, while it is still a very big issue today in Nigeria, one of the biggest challenge Nigerians have right now is the cost of providing medicines for themselves.
Yes.
The cost of just one single dose of antibiotics is beyond the reach of that woman selling tomatoes in the market and the woman frying akara in the market. And of course, they are not different from anyone. They still will be infected with malaria, or their children.
Maybe more vulnerable.
More vulnerable, that's the word. So how do you think we can solve all of this issue? Do you think going back to herbal is the best bet at this point?
That's the only thing, because myself, sitting here, I cannot afford most of the medications, so even though you could say I'm in the middle class. But if you took a look at what it costs to maintain your home, you will know that buying medicine for malaria may take the back seat. So you have to go to, if it is Agbo or whatever, you use it, and if it were effective to our forefathers, it could still be effective now. So I think that there is no other option. What other option do you have? What other option do you have? You don't have it unless you want to steal.
Now, we are talking about the people, and we are overlooking the role the governments have to play in this particular situation, because this is health, which is one of the primary needs of the people that should be met. So where is the government getting it wrong? Because if we talk about how even the doctors, the nurses are being treated and the way they're now banking on the whole jackpot thing and they're leaving. It is supposed to be, I think, a doctor to how many people?
A doctor to 400 people.
400 people. But we don't even have a doctor to even 200 people. Talk more of the 400 people. So what is the way out at this point? Should we just keep on talking about the problems without looking at the solution to these problems?
Well, the government, as you have rightly pointed out, has a role to play. But is it playing that role? A government that will come on the first day, the first day you are sworn in, even before the ink with which you sign your name across, etch your name across the pages of document declaring you president, you announce the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, which you know the implication. From 189 naira, the cost of fuel jumped to 550 in just 1 hour. What other thing gives you the impression that that government cares about how you survive when you have malaria? If a government would take such a drastic decision, where else in the world, in the whole wide world, have you had that happen? I have not heard. If you have any example of anywhere else in the whole world where it happened, let me know. I'll be willing to learn. So it shows you the issue about the mindset that I talked about. If you care for your people, your reform that you bandy about should start from certain areas where the haves inhabit, not the have-nots. The haves, people who are playing your group. That is where you should start. If, for instance, we are able to ramp up oil production in the Niger Delta, Nigeria is the only country in the OPEC platform that is not benefiting from the increase of price of the petroleum products, that is not benefiting from the wars in Ukraine. In Middle East. Nigeria is the only country because our production capacity, which is up to 2.5 million barrels per day, is not being met by half. It's just we are producing 1.3, 1.4. You understand? The rest is not that we are not producing up to that. The rest of the money goes into people's pocket by way of oil theft. You understand? So if you could stop that oil theft, because people are asking what other solution do you have? If you could stop that oil theft, ramp up production, then what we will have is also 100% of what you already have. And if you added 100% of what you have now to the economy, do you know what it will do? To the fuel subsidy you are talking about? And that's why I asked you to go and listen to that talk by former CBN governor. Because he told you in that talk that Nigeria couldn't be using up to 30 million, consuming up to 30 million liters of petrol every day. But they're saying that you are consuming 70 million. So if you cut off that 40 million, or let's also say you cut off 20 million, and add the excess to the economy, would you be where we are today?
Very true.
But instead of doing that, take the simple option. Move it, let the poor die, let them, whatever happens. If you move into the street, I will have army people, I will have police that will mow you down. That is the difference between you and the white man. The white man thinks that is why it's not that there's no corruption in the West. But of course they will put everything in place so that they can take in that corruption. No.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, of course we can't oversee these things, and it's very sad actually that a country like Nigeria in 2024 is still being infected by an ailment or disease that we can literally, just wipe out. Unfortunately, health is wealth, most importantly. But of course, that can only be possible if our leaders understand that health is truly wealth by doing what they should do. Thank you so very much, Sonny Igbanugo, for being part of our show today. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harry.
Thank you as always. All right, people, that's just about the time we have for our show today. We want to appreciate you for joining us wherever it is you've watched us. We say thank you. But please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms on Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you another time. Bye-bye.